Morning guys, Sergeant Foos here with another update on version 0.0.6 of the Athena Web 2. This is a nice release because I'm pretty satisfied with the result of this one compared to the other ones. This one has major improvements. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to my GitHub page, Athena-Web-2. Here's a little bit of all the README stuff where you can find my latest work, all the features, the highlights. Version 6, straight to the point, we have a new feature called ITGT Target Workflow. For you guys that fly in planes and you're just as much a fan as I am for the Firewheel mod, and you'd like to do some GPS bombing, I added a really cool new feature which I will show you. Just about the page to get the unit, the mod downloaded. It's not going to be on the workshop for now because it's a standalone local client version. That means it doesn't need to run on any server. So if you join a server, the only thing the server needs is the Athena mod, the original created by Bus. There should be a link here as well, here in the bottom. So you need this mod on the server. This one is BattleEye whitelisted, so Bus stopped 8 years ago with improving this mod. He did do a YouTube release on the web version, this one. The problem with this version is that it's never been BattleEye approved. Because the original Athena is a desktop application, you need to have a Windows machine. It's an exe that will run, which shows you the UI. So if you want to run the original Athena mod on a second screen, you do need a Windows tablet or a computer to be able to see all of this. So what my mod does is, the original Athena has a relay. He calls it a relay, which is basically the communication between Arma 3 and his UI mod. What my mod does is it just a client. So it connects to the relay from the original Athena mod, and it can basically do the same as the desktop application. I did some bug fixes compared to his version. His version has the zoom in, zoom out bug, which sometimes crashes the tool. And yeah, basically Bus 3 years ago he placed a video on YouTube about his web version, and after that it's gone silent. And because I love this mod so much, it prevents you from mistaking friendly fire, that kind of stuff. But I did want to run it on a tablet, on an iPad or an Android tablet, instead of a Windows tablet, because most people don't have Windows tablets anymore, or a second computer with a second screen. It's just inconvenient. So I decided to make my own mod, which is a client, and it will connect to the original mod, and it has some cool new features. So how to get started? You can do it two ways. You can either just follow the instructions, but this is mainly done for developers, so people who want to contribute to my work, or test or do some local improvements. They need to follow the instructions down the bottom. But for you guys, the quick start is the exe, which is the most convenient way. So you can either go down here and follow these steps, or you can, so if you want to do the option B, that's for developers, you don't need all that. The quickest way is to browse all the way to the top. On the right side here you see release. This is the latest version. So if you click on that, you do get some instructions about how to work, how it works, the latest highlights. But for you guys, this is the important part here, this line. So you click on that, in the top right corner you will see a download icon. And keep in mind this is an exe, so especially Windows 11 will complain about it, like, hey, it's never been run, is it secure? For the sake of purpose of testing this video, I already had a 6 and a 6.1, so I'm just gonna run this one with the 2 behind it, because that will show you guys what will happen when you run it the first time in Windows 11. So Windows will tell you, hey, this file, blah blah blah, smart screen, don't run. But if you click on the more options, you can see run anyway. That will start my tool, and it will bring you this pop-up: allow public and private networks. You need to allow this, otherwise your tablet cannot connect to it. So basically the game isn't running yet. All we have now is this tool, and as you can see, it tries to connect to the relay, the Athena relay, which is not running yet. But that's the whole purpose of my mod. Just like the original Athena, you can highlight, not sure if you guys seen it, but here where it says localhost on a tablet, by the way, you need to enter the full IP address of your computer. The tool will tell you the IP address, and if you want to run it from outside of your local network, you need to port forward and do some firewall settings, but this is the address for your public system. When the mod is running, I'm gonna drop it on the right side for now. You will see the splash screen. Because my mod, it needs to have the rendered maps, meaning that if you would go into your Steam folder, Steam apps, common, Arma free, and then in here you need to do the tick box where it says show hidden folders, your hidden items, otherwise you can't see this exclamation mark workshop folder, which is a bit grayish. This is where all your Arma mods are stored by default. You scroll to the Athena mod, which will be here. You just subscribe to this mod from the workshop, and in here you find a folder called app, and this is the original Athena desktop mod. Now my tool works best when this front UI, the original UI, is not running. So I put some instructions in here on how to deal with that, because the Athena mod allows you to modify a file where you can say, hey, do start the relay, but do not start the front end every time I run the game. So this is the part I'm talking about now. You do need a map export when you start using my mod. So it tells you here, join a server, open the Athena desktop, which is this thingy. When you're in the game, you press start and it starts rendering the maps. It will store it on your computer. It does that in the documents folder Athena, and this is where it stores all your maps. So every map you run, either it be an original Arma free map or a mod map or whatever map, it needs to be rendered one time by the original desktop app. As you can see, I already have a few. So yeah, basically that is what you need to do. The Athena extension, this is kind of important. In your Steam apps Arma 3 workshop, here you have the folder Athena settings.txt. This is the thing you would like to modify to not start the desktop app every time you run the game, because that basically could potentially bring you problems. So let's see where it is. Arma free workshop, the second screen mod, and then my GitHub page mentions Athena extension settings. It's this one. Right click, open with Notepad, or if you have Notepad++ like I do, this is where you set the launch app to false. That means that the relay will start, relay set to true, but the desktop app does not run every time. By default this is set to true, so it will start both the relay and the front end desktop. After you've done the rendering, or you know where to find it manually, I recommend you to set this to false. Otherwise, you need to go in and out of the game all the time, and some computers might crash it. So that being said, I already rendered the maps, so we're not going to do it. I'm going to close the desktop app. As said, we started the my tool, which is basically a bridge between the Athena relay and the new front-end UI. So when you're not in the game, this is how it looks. It will show the splash screen and it will tell you, hey, I'm connecting to the server. Currently I'm disconnected. Gives you some instructions. While the game isn't running, this part here on the left, the map section, this is where you can find those rendered folders, the ones I showed you a couple minutes ago. And you can use this offline to do some planning, basic strategy, have a look, whatever. So give this a few seconds or maybe a minute, depends a bit on the speed of your system, but it will load the map. Of course, there are no vehicles and units because we're not running the game, but it will show you the map and you can do all the stuff you like to do, toggle in and out. So in version 6, a few things improved. The runways now show with taxi lanes. Those were not showing in many maps. That's the thing I fixed. As you can see, there is a bit of work to do to make it a bit more nice. That will be future release. Dirt track. So this gray part here is a dirt road. I have not, it should draw those nice brown lines instead of those gray blocks. That's a thing I'm gonna improve in the next few versions. Another thing improved is the shoreline rendering. It was very blocky and ugly in the previous versions. This is now a lot smoother. So there's some computing behind it, doing nice rendering. The trees now have little dark circles around it instead of just green bulbs. The forest overlay has improved a lot. So now you can see forest. So if we toggle this, let's go trees, you can see where the forest is thicker, and the overlay now really nicely matches where is thick forest, like dense trees and stuff. As you can see, there are still trees on the outside, on the outskirts, but in general it does a lot better. In my opinion, it does even better than the original Athena mod, because in the original Athena mod, the dense forest wasn't really matching where all the trees were. And so if you toggle this, you can clearly see that it does a lot better job now than the original mod. Another new thing is the arrows here in the top. You can now collapse the bars, and this is mainly done for tablets, because if you have a small screen tablet, it's kind of hard to see the entire map. I also done some scaling, so the tool will detect if you are a Windows computer browser or a tablet browser. That should scale a lot better, but I only have an iPad mini 6th gen, so I love to hear your feedback, guys, from different devices, different resolutions, how it works out, because I think there might be need of some extra work there. In the previous version, so this is like a hedge, it's bush that was completely twisted and wrong facing. The train tracks now show a lot better, so this is a train track running bottom to top, so that's improved. It was a nightmare to get it right. The towns look a lot better now. I kindly on purpose left the shading inside the buildings visible. Maybe I'm gonna change that in the near future. I don't really know. The contours have been updated, so the contours were really ugly blocky in the previous versions. Now they're a lot nicer, more towards the original Athena mod. So instead of those square blocky wobbly lines, it computes now, and in my opinion, it does a lot better job. The ground toggle and the pilot toggle have got a modification to it, but I'm not really satisfied. So what the ground does, it shows you different colors. So as you can see here, really high mountains are red. So the color becomes more red when it's high ground, and it becomes more grayish when it's low ground. For pilots, it's a little bit different. I am gonna work on this in future releases because I'm not 100% pleased with it yet. But in general, it's working now. It was bugged in the previous versions. Now it has a function. So as you can see, it changed a little bit of colors. I'm gonna do some overhauling on that in the near release. So let's switch back to 2D and see what happens when we start the game. So now I'm offline. I can see that because I'm disconnected and the map is set manually to Tanoa. So let's play with a mod. Because I have a really cool new feature in version 6, especially for you pilots, and especially the ones using the Firewheel pilot mod, which is in my opinion the best Arma free pilot mod on the planet. So let's see what happens. Keep in mind that even when you're in the editor in Arma free, in the Eden editor, technically you're not running the game. So I'm gonna switch to Malden. On the right side we see Tanoa. Let me do that on purpose, because in version 6 the switching should be improved by a lot. So it doesn't switch right now because the game hasn't started. We're in the editor. So let's quickly drop a plane. We do need a firewheel. You can see that when hovering over it says FIR, and because this is a normal plane and this is a firewheel plane. So let's see, do we have a firewheel F16? Yes, we do have the Falcon. So let's drop it. Let's give it a few GPS bombs. This is a 2,000 pounder GPS guided bomb. Do we have more? Yes, we have GPS laser, LJDAM, or let's go this is GPS guided, should be good. Yep, it picked. Okay, so watch what happens when I start playing the game. As you can see, it took a couple seconds in the right side. So now it says connected in the top right. And you can no longer, oh, let me put this on the side. So now you can see it's connected. The mission is Malden, the timestamp. We have the orbit, the locations, all the toggle thingies. So another thing improved is vehicle markers. The vehicle markers, there is room to improve this, but compared to the original Athena mod, there were also quite a few mistakes in what type of icon is showing. So in this version, it mainly shows a plain icon. It does that for drones sometimes as well, because if you hover over certain stuff, there is not much for the Athena mod to figure out what type of plane it is. Especially when you do AI, when you drop AI in a vehicle, the game, when you hover over it, will tell you it's a BUAV AI, and it does that for many types. So that it's really hard for me to get the correct icon. So I've done two things. If I can find the matching icon, it does. If it can't find a specific matching icon for vehicles like a quad vehicle, this is a good example, it shows you a random square icon. I'm not really going to show you right now because otherwise the video is going to be way too long. But let's dive into the 0.0.6 new feature for the ITGT stuff. So we already, when you hovered with the mouse on the right side, in the bottom right here, you see the X and Y values of the mouse, which are, by the way, the real coordinates from the game. But if you go into the ITGT part from the firewall mod, you have the option to enter a grid. But if I close this and I go in the map and you scroll down, all you get is this 8-digit number, and that's because I'm running a mod. I'm not sure if I can show you. Yeah, I'm running this 8-digit coordinate mod, but by default Arma shows you a 6-digit number, and it's every time you want to enter your details in the ITGT, you need to convert the 6 to 8 digits, which was a pain for me because I'm flying a lot. So what I've done in the map, if you hover over with the mouse, and by the way, with a tablet, I've done a little fix here for tablets. Tablets, you don't have a mouse and you can't click the middle mouse button. It detects you're a tablet and it shows you save TGT. So you place your finger wherever you want and this save TGT button becomes active. In a computer browser, you can just simply middle mouse click or press the T, and on the right side you can see it drops markers with an 8-digit number, the one you see on the bottom right. So here in the bottom right, it does a conversion for you. So you can either monitor and type over, or you middle click and you place a marker. And now you have this copy paste button, and you can do a Control V to paste it. And if I enter that coordinate, it says in the left bottom of the game, the target list has been updated. And as we can see, that is a correct match in the game. So it's not running both ways. If you do it on a map, it will not bring it to the ITGT part in the game because my mod is not communicating with the firewall mod. I can discuss in the future if this is possible. Also the other way around. So if I do it in here, if I designate a target, it doesn't bring it to my tool. But the idea is that you can now copy paste over values. So if you want to bomb this building, you clear this, Control V, and boom, there you have it, right on top of the little building. So that's a major improvement for my version 6. Also on the right side, this map, Malden does not yet have the taxi lanes. It's work in progress. I've seen it a couple times. I don't know why it doesn't always show, but that's work in progress. The runways do show, so this one shows, and the one here in the top, but the taxi lanes are not showing. I'm gonna work on that. I'm almost there, but it just takes a lot of AI tokens to do all that work. So that's the ID of version 0.0.6. So if we toggle vehicles, you can now see it's also rotating and correcting the right way I'm facing. So let's hope I'm not crashing. I want to drop a bomb in the middle of the runway. I copy paste this, go ITGT, Control V, enter, and boom, there you have it, in the runway. So in the firewall mod, there are YouTube videos on how to deal with this. I set it to target 3. You select your bomb in the top right, make sure it has that little arrow, otherwise you're not in GPS mode, because a full bar like this is laser guided or drop without GPS. If you do another F key, you see that little arrow, which is the GPS mode. So let's zoom out a little bit. Ooh. And now I drop my bomb, and in the left bottom of the game you see GPS mode activated. Let's see if we can see the bomb falling. I should have aligned my plane, by the way, to do it precisely. Hopefully I'm high enough that it can reach the target, otherwise it drops in the ocean. Boom, there it goes. So guys, I hope you really gonna enjoy this mod. One other thing I've done is when we disconnect the game, we go disconnected. Now the splash screen shows and you have the option to change maps again. So that is improved in version 6 as well. As you can see here, this map does have the runways and the taxi lanes, so yeah, I'm almost there. It's work in progress. But as you can see also in this map, the rendering is a bit better. It's bundled in the exe, by the way, the graphic part. So that should look nice. Love to hear your comments, guys. This is the website. On the right side, releases the latest version. There are some ways to see the change logs here, what has been added, what have been done, what have been fixed, removed. There's a work log, which I'm keeping up to date on what I'm doing. I have a to-do queue for version 7. And you guys could really help me if you would add stuff in here. If you find bugs or stuff, I can take them in the next update. If you have features you would love to see, let me know in the comments. Keep in mind this is client side only, so I can't do more than the Athena mod provides. But the ITGT stuff, for example, that's local on my side. It doesn't bring it to the game. It doesn't need to bring it to the server the mod is running. So local stuff, I'm thinking of stuff like AI, adding Arma AI in there, or local AI to do some pop-ups mentioning like, hey, troops are progressing, or friendly units are suffering losses, or that kind of stuff. I'm thinking for the future, like, hey, what can we do with this? Let me know in the comments, and love to hear your feedback, guys. Sergeant Foos out.